Good morning and welcome to a wonderful Wednesday. We are here for yet another read aloud, our weekly read alouds, and today our book is going to be Aunt Flossie's Hats and Crab Cakes Later. And every time I read this book, I think about my aunt and I think about my grandmother because they used to be the ones in the family who wore the big hats, thus, why I wore my hat today. So, we are going to get started and stay tuned because there is an assignment for today. I did hear about there not being any homework, so I have some homework for you today once we are done reading. And while I'm reading, I'm going to be doing some costume changes because, as I said, this book reminds me of my grandmother and my aunt, and I am so lucky to have some of their hats that they used to wear. And so I'm going to be changing into some of those hats as we read. Aunt Flossie's Hats and Crab Cakes Later. On Sunday afternoons, Sarah and I go to see great great Aunt Flossie. Sarah and I love Aunt Flossie's house. It is crowded full of stuff and things, books and pictures and lamps and pillows, plates and trays and old dried flowers and boxes and boxes and boxes of hats. On Sunday afternoons, when Sarah and I go to see Aunt Flossie, she says, "Come in, Susan. Come in, Sarah. Have some tea. Have some cookies. Later, we can get some crab cakes." We sip our tea and eat our cookies, and then Aunt Flossie lets us look in her hat boxes. We pick out hats and try them on. Aunt Flossie says they are her memories, and each hat has its story. Hats, 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 hats. A stiff black one with bright red ribbons, a soft brown one with silver buttons, thin floppy hats that hide our eyes, green or blue or pink or purple. Some have fur and some have feathers. Look, this hat is just one smooth, soft rose, but here's one with a trillion flowers. Aunt Flossie has so many hats. One Sunday afternoon, I picked out a woolly winter hat, sort of green maybe. Aunt Flossie thought a minute. Aunt Flossie always thinks a minute before she starts a hat story. Then she sniffed the woolly hat. "Just a little smoky smell now," she said. Sarah and I sniffed the hat too. "Smoky smell, Aunt Flossie?" Time for a hat change. Ah, all right, here we go. The big fire, Aunt Flossie said. The big fire in Baltimore. Everything smelled of smoke for miles around, for days and days. Big fire didn't come near our house on Center Street, but we could hear fire engines racing down St. Paul. Horses' hooves clattering, bells, whistles. Your great grandma and I couldn't sleep. We grabbed our coats and hats and ran outside, worried about Uncle Jimmy's grocery store, worried about the Turpins and the crabs. Big fire in Baltimore. Aunt Flossie closed her eyes. I think she was seen long ago. I wondered about crab cakes. Did they have crab cakes way back then? Then Sarah sniffed Aunt Flossie's hat. "No more smoky smell," she said. "But I thought I could smell some just a little." Then Sarah tried a different hat, dark, dark blue with a red feather. This one, Aunt Flossie, this one. Aunt Flossie closed her eyes and thought a minute. Oh my, yes, my. What an exciting day. We waited, Sarah and I. What happened, Aunt Flossie, I asked. Time for a hat change. I love this hat. Big parade in Baltimore. Oh, parade, said Sarah. We love parades. I made that hat, Aunt Flossie said, to wear to watch that big parade. Buglers bugling, drummers drumming, flags flying everywhere. The boys, soldiers, back from France, marching up Charles Street, proud. Everyone cheering, everyone shouting. The Great War was over. The Great War was over. Let's have a parade, I said. Sarah put on the dark blue hat. I found a red one with a furry pom-pom. We marched around Aunt Flossie's house. March with us, Aunt Flossie, I called. But she was closing her eyes. She was seen long ago. Maybe she was dreaming about crab cakes, Sarah said. Having that parade in the house with Aunt Flossie. Then we looked in the very special box. Look, Aunt Flossie, here's your special hat. It was the big straw hat with the pink and yellow flowers and green velvet ribbon. Aunt Flossie's favorite best Sunday hat. It's our favorite story, too, because we are in the story, and we can help Aunt Flossie tell it. Time for a hat change. All right, here we go. Aunt Flossie smiled. One Sunday afternoon, she said, we were going out for crab cakes. Sarah and Susan and Mommy and Daddy and I said. And Aunt Flossie said, Sarah. Aunt Flossie nodded. We were walking by the water and the wind came. Let me tell it, I said. The wind came and blew away your favorite best Sunday hat. My favorite best Sunday hat, said Aunt Flossie. It landed in the water. It was funny, said Sarah. I didn't think so, said Aunt Flossie. Nah, that's not too funny. Not my favorite Sunday hat. And Daddy tried to reach it, I said, but he slid down in the mud. Daddy looked really surprised and everybody laughed. He couldn't rescue my favorite best Sunday hat, said Aunt Flossie. And Mama got a stick and leaned far out. She almost fell in, but she couldn't reach it either. The water rippled and your favorite best Sunday hat just floated by like a boat. Up, there's Dad falling in the mud trying to save her favorite best Sunday hat. Now comes the best part, and I'll tell it, said Sarah. A big brown dog came. It was walking with the boy. May we help you, the boy asked. My dog Gretchen can get it. The boy threw a small stone. It landed in Aunt Flossie's hat. Fetch, Gretchen, fetch. Fetch, Gretchen, fetch. Gretchen jumped into the water and she swam. She swam and she got it. Gretchen got Aunt Flossie's hat. Hooray for Gretchen! We all jumped up and down. Hooray for Aunt Flossie's hat. It was very wet, said Aunt Flossie, but it dried just fine, almost like new. My favorite, best Sunday hat. There he is, saving the hat. Yay, Gretchen. I like that story, I said. So do I, said Sarah. And I like what happened next. We went to get crab cakes. Crab cakes, said Aunt Flossie. What a wonderful idea. Sarah, Susan, telephone your parents. We'll go get some crab cakes right now. I think Sarah and I will always agree about one thing. Nothing in the whole wide world tastes as good as crab cakes. But crab cakes taste best after stories. Stories with Aunt Flossie. The end. Aunt Flossie's hats and crab cakes later. Ah, such a great story. Okay, so now your assignment is to find someone. Could be a grandma, it could be an aunt, it could be a neighbor, it could be someone at your church, it could be someone that has been in your family for a long time that's like a family friend. And we want you to just talk to them and ask them some questions. Kind of interview them, if you will. I have got some starter questions for you, and I see, oh, there we go. All right, I've got some starter questions for you that can kind of get the ball rolling. I know I used to talk to my grandmother a lot, and she always seemed to tell the same story over and over again. That's when I knew she loves that story, but it was just always a great time being able to conversate and laugh and hear my grandmother's memories. And so here, questions are, what traditions did you have? Question number 2, what's your earliest memory? What's the thing that they remember from way, way back when? Question number 3, did you ever get in trouble as a child? That should be interesting. Number 4, tell me about your house you grew up in, your neighborhood, your friends. Next question, what's different about growing up today than when you were a child? And the last question, what could you tell me that I would be surprised to learn about you? That one should get some interesting responses. So I hope you have fun interviewing someone that you know. Remember to social distance, wear a mask, or definitely call them on the phone. I'm sure they will love the opportunity to conversate with you. C for proud, MPS proud.